now we head to Skydome.
All right, Steve, and here at Skydome, a Winnipeg win will finish any thin hope the Argos have of getting to the postseason and would give the Bombers the inside track on the last playoff spot in the CFL's North Division. So those are the stakes. Both teams are desperate. That alone should make them dangerous. We should have no reason to attach the word turkey to this Thanksgiving Day special. And so now here are Chris Cuthbert and Dan Kepley to weave the spellbinding descriptive tales. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Scott. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Troy Westwood has it on the tee. Jimmy Cunningham and Pinball Clemens are deep. And they'll kick it to Cunningham, who told me yesterday he thought he could return one against the Blue Bombers, but pretty good downfield pursuit by Winnipeg to open this one, led by Wade Miller, limiting Cunningham's return to 21 yards. As Kent Austin leads the Argos offense onto the field. Austin making his 11th start. They have not won with Kent Austin as the starter this year. There are the numbers on the season, and Kent Waring kept a larger flak jacket this week because of bruised ribs 2 weeks ago.
Well, he tried to fit into a body cast if he could, because there's not too many parts of his body that aren't injured at this point of the season.
First play from scrimmage, and they pitch it to Pinball Clemens. He's across the 35-yard line before he's drilled back by Kelvin Smith, one of the active linebackers for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Pick up a 4 as we set the offensive line for you. Mike Dumoresque out of the University of Western Ontario at right tackle. One of 4 non-import offensive linemen. John Morton moves inside this week because Jeff Fairholm and Paul Mazzotti back in the lineup, and they like Morton's speed at the slot back position. 2nd and 7, and they're looking for Mazzotti. Jump ball against Ken Barres, and it falls incomplete.
Mazzotti doing a good job of going from offense to defense there, and Ken Austin, obviously right now at this point in the time of the season, he just says, hey, go big or go home. Let's try to make something happen and try to make it happen quickly.
So 3rd down in a punting situation, and Albert Brown making his first appearance for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, dropping deep to accept the punt from Terry Baker, who had a strong game last week at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Got a great kick by Baker, and it's taken by the up man, Matt Pierce, and great field position for the Bombers to start this one at the 52-yard line. We'd like to notify the network this is commercial number 20.
Welcome back to Skydome. We were quickly away from BC Place to get the kickoff here against the Argonauts. And here is the final then from Calgary, in case you missed it. 41-27 for the Stampeders over the lines. This, of course, all gravy for the Stampeders, who last week had already clinched first place in the CFL's North Division. Chris?
Well, Scott, they're now 14-1, so they're only 3 wins away from 17 on a year, which Wally Buono set as a goal.
You and Coach Bono still trying to dig a little bit at me over that 1981 Grey Cup team, huh? 14-1-1. But Wally does have the key saying no team in the CFL has won 17 games in a season.
First play from scrimmage, and Reggie Slack goes right to Blaze Bryant. And he gets to midfield. Slack making the start. The former Argonaut. He played 7 games here a year ago, then 7 with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And since Reggie Slack's taken over, there has been some stability in the Winnipeg offense.
Well, they certainly has been. And I tell you what, they've lost some receivers. They're finally starting to get some people healthy, getting them back in the lineup at the crucial time. And they have a confident guy at the helm, Reggie Slack.
2nd down and 6, and the pressure on. They've got Slack back at the 45-yard line, and Swift Birch, the player of the week, as the lineman last week for his outstanding play against Calgary, notches the sack against Reggie Slack. It's number 8 on the year for Swift Birch.
Swift Birch does such an excellent job of getting off the ball. The acceleration that he has got himself up the field, just absolutely beat any blocking scheme that the Winnipeg offensive line was trying to do. And he was in the backfield and on Reggie Slack before he almost even took the snap.
Great veteran Bob Cameron with his first punt of the night, and he's got his hands full dealing with Jimmy Cunningham, who has an average of 23.1 yards per punt return this season, and already 2 punt return touchdowns. And it's Cunningham from his 20 trying to get outside. Good downfield coverage once again for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. A 6-yard return after the 44-yard punt.
28-point winter inspection, oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a 4-liter jug of washer fluid, all for just $24.99. Only at Canadian Tire.
Great night for football here in Toronto. A look at the Blue Bombers defense. Kenny Walker is over from the Calgary Stampeders. His first start in that 3-4 alignment, and a quick out pattern to Paul Mazzotti and David Poole over to make the quick stop. Mazzotti came into the game just 30 yards shy of a 1,000-yard season. Linebackers always like to talk about linebackers, and John Moten is the newcomer. K.D. Williams had a great game last week, and Shannon Garrett, Cal Murphy said yesterday, has been their most reliable man in the secondary so far this year. That's a young secondary for Winnipeg.
It really is, but they had the addition also of Albert Brown as their DI, which adds some great experience and some stability back there.
Second down, give to Pinball Clements up near the 36-yard line. Needed that for the first, dropped the football. Winnipeg says they have it, and there is a flag down on the play.
And I think they're going to get Winnipeg offsides. Quick jump that time, and it was a free play for Ken Austin.
Jake Ireland, the referee tonight, signaling this against Winnipeg.
Outside, Winnipeg number 42, first down.
So the Argonauts with the initial first down. Bobo Bilovich trying to maintain that confident air, but he did make the point that this is one of the few games since he's taken over where the entire offensive package is healthy, back together as a unit, and he hopes it stays that way. First down for Austin, and he guns it over the middle, incomplete through the hands of the intended receiver, Paul Mazzotti.
Now what happens when they know that you have a quarterback that's banged up and injured, and he's going to line up and set up between the tackles? All of a sudden that offensive line is really working extremely hard to buy him some extra time. And when Ken Austin has the opportunity, and Winnipeg has been playing a lot of zone defense, he has the tendency to be able to pick you apart.
You saw defensive halfback Darius Watson on the limp. Cal Murphy also saying he's had a strong season for the Bombers in the secondary. 2nd and 10. Looking for Mazzotti again, working against David Poole. It's incomplete, and the Argos will have to kick.
Well, the thing is that what they need to do is try to get some consistency, even though they have everybody back. They have not had everybody back together to try to get some continuity and get the timing together. You can see how Mazzotti's working one-on-one. Now he's going to slide to the out. Ken Austin has plenty of time to throw the ball. It's been a tight squeeze to get it in there, and he just throws it past the out quickly.
Baker's low kick bouncing out of bounds at the Winnipeg 40-yard line. No score. We're at Skydome in Toronto. The Bombers and the Argonauts. A couple of guys who've had better years. Bobo Bilovich 2-12, Cal Murphy 5-10, and the heat has been on both of them.
Well, I don't know if Coach Bilovich's attitude is the same as Cal Murphy, but as I told you 2 weeks ago when we were standing on the sideline in Winnipeg, he looked at me and he says, you know something, Kev, after everything I've been through and you've been through, he says, 2-8, 2-10, it's not that bad. And as a matter of fact, it has gotten a little better for him. He's actually got it to 5-10 right now.
Cal was blustering yesterday. He was upset because somebody in Winnipeg had the audacity to suggest the Blue Bombers were favored in this game. I said, Cal, would you expect to be underdogs against a team that's lost 9 in a row? Here's Gerald Wilcox with a catch out in the flat. Wrestled to the turf by Tommy Henry. Whistle blew. And so no fumble on the play. Gerald Wilcox starting to heat up for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, still with the chance for a 1,000-yard season. Well, when you talk about the offensive line, Miles Gurrell, Chris Walby, the twin bookends, and Gurrell playing in game number 301. As I mentioned, Gerald Wilcox is starting to come on. 10 catches last week, 150 yards for that Winnipeg offense, now led by Reggie Slack.
Key part to this whole Winnipeg offense in prior seasons has been the inside slot play.
2nd and 8, and that time Wilcox wasn't looking for the ball. Delivered very quickly. Don Wilson was in coverage. We've seen a lot of that this year, though. Wilcox and Matt Dunnigan were always on the same page, and this year Slack being the 9th quarterback employed by the Bombers the cohesiveness between the #1 receiver and quarterbacks hasn't always been there.
Well, it's very different for Reggie Slack. He's coming in here as basically a type of run-and-shoot style quarterback who gets their reads off of the halfback, the corners, and over the safety part. Now he said yesterday he's starting to read a little bit more of the middle linebacker. This time, Don Wilson was right up on top of Wilcox, but he still threw the ball hot to him. Wilcox wasn't looking for it.
Cunningham, the lone man, back from his 28, trying to reverse field, finds the seam, and Jimmy Cunningham has burst another. And Jimmy Cunningham into Winnipeg territory. The Jet down at the 46-yard line. And he has consistently delivered great punt returns since he got in the lineup 5 weeks ago. This for 36 yards.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Concorde number 86 just turns it on, and when he explodes and accelerates right now, does a terrific job hitting the hole. Ken Burris does a great job of chasing him down from behind, just to show you some of the speed that Ken possesses.
Burris and Watson in on the stop, but Cunningham has really vaulted into the upper echelon of punt returners in this league. Austin flushed out of the pocket, looking for Fairholm. Off his hand, incomplete. Well, his 2 targets so far tonight have been the 2 that were out with hamstring injuries a week ago, Fairholm and Mazzotti.
Well, they're 2 good targets to throw to. I tell you what, these guys are, both of them, sure-handed. Just some guys that have had tough luck with both injuries, and also they're having a struggle through the course of this season. This team right now, very much individually and collectively as a team, they're trying to salvage the season and make something happen.
2nd and 10 from the Winnipeg 46. Good protection, and it's Clemens coming out of the backfield, beats one man, pinball with the first down, and stopped at the 28-yard line. Pickup of 18 again. Burris on the tackle. But Clemens out of the backfield, and Kemp, that's something they haven't been successful with in recent weeks.
Well, what they've tried to do and what they want to do now is to try to get Clemens vertical and get him up the field at some point in time. Ken Austin likes the ability and the opportunity to be able to spread this offense out across the board. That, in fact, spreads the defense, gives him some wider areas to hit to, and Michael Clemens can find that open spot.
First down, quickly, the hitch inside, Mazzotti, flag down, Paul Mazzotti inside the 10-yard line, but there is a penalty marker on the turf.
I think we're going to bring it back. The youngster that just came into the league here, John Morton, may get called for an illegal block as that pass was in the air. He's the slot that's going to come out and try to kick out the corner, and he made contact while the ball was still in the air. Let's see if that is the call.
Had a chat with Morton prior to the game, just adjusting to the slot back position.
Forward pass interference. Toronto number 80. Repeat first down.
And that is the call. Morton has played one game outside. It's his first game as the slot. And he mentioned that the one thing he was going to have to get used to was the motion allowed at that position.
Yeah, exactly. It'll take him a while to just get, comfortable and to what he wants to do. And then all of a sudden, when the play is called and he is the man with the key block, he just got a little over-aggressive and he made the block while the ball was still in the air.
And it negates a 21-yard pickup. It's 1st and 20. As Austin drops back, looking deep, looking for Morton, and it falls incomplete. Darius Watson with the coverage on the newcomer.
Ken Austin not being very shy at all. I mean, he can mix it up a little bit. We haven't seen any running plays per se so far. Throws it to the wide outs a little bit, few hitches, hitting the curls on the zone patterns. Then he's going to take it downtown, and he did have Morton wide open in the corner route.
Morton with good speed inside. They've got Jimmy Cunningham wide to the left on 2nd and 20 from the 38-yard line of Winnipeg. And Austin has to pull it down. Ken Austin across the 35 to the 33. John Moulton there to limit his progress. And the Argos will have to settle for a field goal attempt. Big John Moulton, a former All-Canadian, a couple of years in Hamilton. This year didn't stick in Birmingham, and now, after a 6-week layoff, has been claimed by the Blue Bombers.
but felt really that he was physically able to come in here. He was in shape, and he could pick up this defense, and more importantly, he's got the kind of attitude it takes to be a Winnipeg Blue Bomber linebacker.
Well, Terry Baker has had some trouble here at Skydome. Just 5 for 11 in Toronto on field goal attempts. And the Argos take too long. Had a problem with the alignment. Kep, we've seen this time after time with the Argos.
Time count violation. Toronto number 88, still third down.
And that'll mean it's going to be from 46 yards out.
Doesn't make it any easier for Terry Baker. Some of those things, you have to be crisp, you have to be focused, and you really have to concentrate. They become disciplined mental errors.
And Baker misses to the right, and Albert Brown pulls it out. Brown across the 10 to the 12-yard line, not conceding the single. 16-yard return of the missed field goal. Still scoreless in Toronto. 39 years of age. At least he'll be 39 later this month. Miles Gurrell's already turned 40, playing in game 301. They're both listed around 325, 330, but I have it on good authority that they're around a hamburger short or heavy of 340 apiece.
It's a good thing we're high up here. They can't hear that. I think we can run a whole lot faster than they can's mad, that's for sure.
Well, I got that from Bob Molly, so a reliable source, former teammate, now the assistant GM. There's Blaze Bryant. Short gain, Calvin Tiggle, Noah Cantor in on the tackle. Well, Bryant last week, 15 carries, 87 yards, and he also caught the ball out of the backfield 6 times. So 21 times they got the ball to Bryant, and Mike Kelly, their offensive coordinator, says they've got to get him the ball at least 20 times in the game to be successful.
But this guy is a true weapon if he's used properly, and I just don't think that has happened through the course of injuries this year.
2nd and 9, and Slack with time. Looking downfield, Wilcox wide open, and Gerald Wilcox pulled down at the Argonaut 40-yard line. Ken Walcott, the safety, with the tackle, but Wilcox with a 56-yard gain.
He may be slow in coming to the real sharpness that he showed in 1994, but here he reads the safety. He comes over. It's 101. He gets head up. Then he goes straight to the inside. Great post route. The ball is thrown right on the money, but unfortunately, it's coming back. It's all for naught.
Flag down at the line of scrimmage on the far side of the field, and it's been that kind of year for the top Canadian in 1994, Gerald Wilcox.
Incredible year, 111 catches, 1,624 yards, 13 touchdowns.
And instead of that 56-yard pickup, it's going to be 2nd down back at the Winnipeg 9-yard line. That's an indication, though, that they're starting to get the ball to Wilcox. The last 2 weeks, 16 catches, 240 yards. 2nd and 14. And Slack under pressure. Mobile quarterback, despite the history of knee problems, and Tiggle went flying into one of the advertisements here. Reggie Slack out of bounds, well short of the 1st down. And there's Tiggle being brought back into the field of play.
Calvin Tiggle showing no ill effects of that 4-week layover and the knee injury. He's listed at 6 foot, 240 pounds, and he is picking them up left and right. Now you just check it out as he goes through the cheerleaders, and right at the end, we do a little somersault, a little tumble. There's a net there, there's a safety net. Now he'll get back out there and go find somebody else to hit.
2 over there, 2 there.
3rd down, and Cameron will punt, standing at his own goal line to accept the snap, and the Argos going after it. Good high punt, and Cunningham at the Winnipeg 53 dropped the ball and drops right on it. So no return, but no damage done after the 38-yard punt by Bob Cameron.
Now with the Bombers and Argos shadow boxing, still scoreless in the first quarter on the BF Goodrich TA halftime report tonight from Skydome. The most likable and accessible of all the CFL's big men, Miles Gorell, will work his charm and will review the proceedings at BC Place between the Lions and Stampeders, where the Stamps went to 14-1 this afternoon, Chris.
Meanwhile, the Toronto Argonauts at 2-12, trying to end a 9-game losing streak. Go to the pinball, and he dropped it right into the arms of Ken Burris. Pinball went one way, the ball went the other.
And that's exactly all it was. He wasn't hit. It didn't look like anybody stripped it out of his hands. Inside counter handoff, Big John Terry pulling from his left guard position. Now watch the move. Right here, boom. Now it just slips out over top of his hands. Michael just didn't have a grasp on it. Burris is the man to come up with the big turnover.
Got to squeeze that turkey on Thanksgiving Day. First turnover of the game. Burris with the fumble recovery, and his teammates get the ball first down at their own 54. Better protection for Slack, and an incompletion looking for the wideout, Alan Boyko, who's looking for a flag, but no call on the play.
Having a conversation with Reggie right before the game, I asked him, I said, do you feel like there's any problem of having a guy like Alan Boyko out as your wideout? And he says, no, not really. He said, Alan's not the speed guy. We don't have a really big, deep threat right now, but he is a sure-handed possession-catching receiver. And he said he is a threat. He is a guy to be reckoned with.
No problem with those stats you saw from the last 3 weeks for Slack and company. He had 4 touchdown passes in the game 2 weeks ago against Calgary. 2nd and 10. There's Bryant out of the backfield across midfield, and the cutback gets him the first down at the Toronto 41-yard line. Blaze Bryant moves the yardsticks, and there's an injured Argonaut on the play. 15 yards the pickup, and cornerback Marcelo Simmons is the injured Argo.
Excellent read by Slack this time. Just dumps it off underneath. Donnie Wilson just absolutely overruns it, and it allows Blaze Bryant to pick up the first down.
Dad and son looking on. A scoreless first quarter here at Skydome. Looks like Dan Kepley's old helmet. I didn't know you played for the Argonauts.
Well, I don't know either, but it sure does look like one of the helmets I wore. But I tell you what a great age to get the kids involved in this sport. It's a terrific sport, and that's what we need more of. Get those knot-hole games and get them learning and being excited about football at a young age.
Yeah, I hear there's a new linebacker patrolling in Edmonton.
There is.
Here's Slack pulling it down, flag down, and boy, it opened up for Reggie Slack, who takes a hit as he slid feet first. Slack with a first down. Tiggle needing to pay the price, a 13-yard gain, but it's offside going against Winnipeg.
And that's one of those questionable calls, because Slack was definitely going in and sliding feet first. That is the intent now that the officials need to protect that quarterback. Tiggle comes in, takes the shot. They don't throw the flag. So then, therefore, you may think it's, it's open season.
Offside. Winnipeg number 81. Repeat first down.
Well, earlier today, a thriller. Calgary over the Lions in BC Place, 41-27. Calgary moving to 14-1, while the Lions are now 9-6, still embroiled in that battle for second place in the Northern Division. These two teams just looking for a spot in the playoffs. First of back-to-back meetings, and Slack gunning it, and this one is picked off. Joe Fuller with the interception, his first of the year. Flag goes down as Fuller races up the sidelines. Only Blaze Bryant to beat, and Bryant does the job. Fuller's interception will stand, but the return is coming back.
Yeah, we're certainly going to get an illegal block, and one of his teammates trying to help him out made the block from behind, but just a poor read by Reggie Slack and a poorly thrown ball.
Holding. Toronto number 16. After the interception. First down.
Maurice Kelly called for holding, but Fuller has his first interception. 56th turnover of the year for the Blue Bombers.
But you get an opportunity to see Slack. He's trying to take it down the seam somewhere, but all of a sudden, Gerald Wilcox is way outside and much, much deeper. You can see him. He's just now starting to trail behind Ken Wilcox, who picked up the first down and the interception. Joe Fuller, I should say.
First down at the 24, pitch out. They go back to Clemens, who fumbled on his last carry, and pinball sandwiched right at the line of scrimmage. And Kenny Walker, the former Stampeder there, and Cal Murphy feels that Walker is going to be a key man at applying a lot more pressure on the quarterbacks in the position at defensive end.
Look at the way that K.D. Williams is trying to work. Chris Giaxis does a good job of pulling and getting around, but this guy will fight you. He comes out of the old mold of Winnipeg linebackers, James West, Tyrone Jones, and all those guys. He's aggressive, he's tough, and he's physical.
2nd and 9 for Ken Austin. Shooting it out to Clemens, who's hit immediately. There's K.D. Williams again, and he's strung a couple of strong games together. And Clemens stops shy of the first down. Yeah, I know he caught your eye against Hamilton last week.
He really did. I mean, he's the guy, he's mobile, he makes things happen. Now look at this, he's running one-on-one with Michael Clemens. That shows a lot of great faith in the defensive secondary, the defensive philosophy. When you can have linebackers that can cover man-to-man, you free your safety up to help out with the halfbacks and anything in the middle.
You know, Bob Obilovich was impressed last week as well with the work of K.D. Williams. And once again, we've got an alignment problem for the Argonauts. And boy, this is something that's haunted them all season long. Willie Jennings coming in late, and they may have to take another time count violation, and this is going to drive Bob Obilovich and the Argo fans crazy.
Well, it's unfortunate, but
Toronto number 10, still 3rd down.
Through the course of this season, it'll be a short trip for both of them. And again, they've already seem to be about halfway going crazy now with what has happened through the course of the season. But again, it gets to be just mental preparation, mental discipline.
Baker gets away. A great kick, though, and it's Albert Brown from his 31. And Frank Yeboah Cody right there to make sure he doesn't get any further. That's a 54-yard punt by Terry Baker. A 6-yard return for the 9-year veteran, Albert Brown.
Great addition to the Winnipeg secondary. Albert Brown, not only as a defensive back, but just as we mentioned, a punt returner, a kickoff returner. He is Saskatchewan's all-time leading kickoff returner in yardage. Has 127 for 2,687 yards when he for 9 years with Saskatchewan.
12 seconds was left on the clock, and it should be the final play of this first quarter. Albert Brown was watching the scoreboard. He thought there was a late hit on that play from Jeff Cummins. Here's Slack, short drop. Gerald Wilcox has it inside and up to the 55-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. Tommy Henry the stop, but a 20-yard pickup. And after 1 quarter of football, we're scoreless at Skydome in Toronto. Roof open at Skydome. Welcome back to Toronto. Blue Bombers and Argonauts scoreless after 15 minutes of football. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with a first down at their own 54-yard line to start the second quarter. Bombers have been shut out for the last 48 minutes of football. The second half against the Tiger Cats. Even though they beat Hamilton, here's Reggie Slack. And he's put them in scoring position, stepping out of bounds at the Argo 34. A 22-yard run for Slack.
Well, Chris, you hit it on the nail right on the head when we had our quick little meeting before the game with Reggie Slack. And you said, listen, I got to ask you about your knee. How is it? He says, my knee has never been better. And this is a perfect example of that. Look at this move right here. He stops both feet, stops Don Wilson right in his tracks, and then accelerates and runs right past him, picks up an additional 12 or 13 yards. That's a great asset and a great weapon to be able to use. Now it will help that defense have to concentrate on Reggie Slack a little more.
First down, they fake to Bryant, and Slack on the run, throwing the out, and it's complete. Gerald Wilcox with the catch. That ball almost picked off by Tommy Henry, who read the play, just couldn't get there. Well, it was not an explosive first quarter of football, and the stats will attest to that.
Well, it really is, and I think it just depends on which side of the ball you're looking at. From Toronto's side, they got to say, hey, we're pretty happy with that. We kept some of the things happen. We kept possession of the ball, and we're in this ball game the first half, so it's a matter of just continuing to do good things. Again, and then if you're Coach Cal Murphy, you have to be happy that you know you have to go out there and you haven't made any glaring errors.
First down at the Argo 20. Slack has time. Throwing to Bryant out of the backfield, and Donnie Wilson there. Tommy Henry as well. And that's just a pickup of 2 on the play for the Bombers.
Good solid defense in the secondary by Toronto. Created excellent coverage going deep to Reggie Slack's primary receivers. Forces him to have to throw it underneath, and when he does, the veteran Donnie Wilson comes up. This time he's not going to overrun the play and makes the tackle on Blaze Bryant.
Argonauts trying to dig in. Alan Boyko goes wide. They've got 6 DBs for the Argonauts as Maurice Kelly is in. And Willie Jennings comes out. Pass for Bryant, and it falls incomplete. And Bryant paid the price as he stretched out for that one. Brings up 3rd down. Calvin Tiggle taking the feet out from under the intended receiver, Blaze Bryant.
Reggie Slack would probably like to have that throw back. He had Blaze Bryant wide open. Had he thrown it down and hit it right in the numbers, he hung him out to dry a bit, and when he did, that Toronto defense laying back, playing in the zone, Donnie Wilson came over and just made the stroke just to let Blaze Bryant know that he was coming into his territory.
From the 25, Westwood, who has not missed from inside the 30 this year, is good, and the Bombers are on the board. And the scoring drought is over for Winnipeg. They take the lead at Skydome in Toronto. These are the T-shirts that the Bombers were wearing in practice yesterday. United we stand, divided we get our butts kicked. I'll tell you what, it's fitting a little looser on him than it does on big Chris Walby.
Tell you what, there's not too many things that would fit loose on Chris Walby, but I tell you what, that when you want to just say it plain and simple, that gets right down to the brass tacks about it.
Here's Jimmy Cunningham. And he finds another seam, and Jimmy Cunningham just tripped up on the Bombers' side of half. Well, he said he saw something in Winnipeg's kickoff coverage, and he sprints 37 yards, and somehow Tim Daniel just got him by the ankles to prevent the touchdown.
Jets, as they call him.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 4. First down.
Albert Brown called for the unnecessary roughness.
Cunningham with just terrific vision, and he's able to see all the field. You can see the quick slant of his eyes looking outside, and the quick feet that he has, tremendous acceleration, able to turn it on, hit a small little crease, run to daylight, and give Ken Austin some great field position, 1st and 10.
You bet. Ball on the Winnipeg 34. Austin over the middle. There's Fairholm. Down immediately. We'll mark that at the 28. It's a pickup of 6 yards. Jeff, we noted a couple of weeks ago, very superstitious. Maybe the luck's turning because 2 weeks ago he had a hole in 1. Didn't play last week because of an injury, but find out if he can get on track. Austin looking for a play, and
there's a lot of weight on this game, and if they go out there and they have a chance to win this, mathematically they could still somewhat make the playoffs. If they don't win this game, he may get a lot of opportunity to make hole-in-ones.
I noticed you looked a little worried because you're playing him tomorrow. You're in time. 2nd and a couple, and Clements will find the first down and more. Boy, he squirted right through. And it was Burris that finally brought him down. T.D. Williams is saying, how'd that guy get by?
He's trying to figure out where he went. Now, you've heard of guys that actually run through blocks. Michael Clements is one of those guys. He runs under them and under tackles. Take a look at this. As he goes right through the hole, arms are all over the place, right underneath number 99, Kenny Walker, and runs right into Ken Burris.
I'll confess I lost him for a moment. What a great run. And now they'll swing it out to Pinball, who has to cut back, and he's down back at the 21-yard line, and that's a loss of 5. T.D. Williams found it in that time.
This Winnipeg defense plays as active, physical, and aggressive as I've seen in a long time. The last couple of weeks, there is something about going out there and playing for not only a playoff position, but you're playing for honor. You're playing for some respect. And they have some additions that every week they try to make this team, and primarily this defense, has gotten a lot better.
5 receivers, 2nd and 15, Argonauts. Austin, and he got it over the defensive back to Jimmy Cunningham, down to the 1. Oh, a gutsy pass and a 20-yard pickup. It's a first down. Cunningham a little slow to get up. He got it over Shannon Garrett. Garrett thought he had a shot at the interception.
Well, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be the out, but all of a sudden you can see Shannon Garrett is standing right there, getting ready to play the out. Cunningham makes an excellent adjustment to the football, bails back out to the outside, lets the ball float to him, and then he makes a tremendous reception and a terrific effort to get it down to the 1-yard line.
Ryan Carey saved the touchdown, but the Argonauts with a 1st and goal from the 1. Full house backfield. Give Pinball Clemens, and Pinball has the touchdown. And he's giving it to big left tackle John Terry to do the spike. The Argos on top.
That Toronto offensive line has gotten a lot better since Pierre Bercheval on the left guard has gotten back in the lineup a couple of weeks ago. Good surge with John Terry and Pierre on that side. Allows Michael Clemens to find the end zone.
Decline. Touchdown.
Well, the Bombers had too many men on the field. Didn't matter. Clemens found the end zone. 6th touchdown of the year. And Terry Baker to add the extra point. Argonauts with the lead, 7-3. 5 minutes, 4 seconds into the second quarter at Skydome. But Jimmy Cunningham set it up with a kickoff return, got a 20-yard catch down to the 1, and then Mike Clemens pushed it in. And the Argonauts with the lead here early in the second quarter.
I'm not sure whether it's Ricky Foggy, Michael Pinball Clemens, or Damon Allen. Somebody leads this league in smiling the most during the football game.
Wasn't that your category? Albert Brown up to the 26-yard line. Let's take another look at that touchdown run by Clemens.
Chris, just take a look. Now watch it right in here, this offensive line, how they're going to surge. Now you watch how all of the defensive linemen, their heads are going to go up. And as soon as that left side comes off of the ball, there goes their head. And as soon as that happens, they get on roller skates, and Michael Pinball is able to get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, Clemens 5'6", and Jimmy Cunningham 5'7", and
I like standing next to Mike.
they were the key guys. Reggie Slack has some time over the middle and a drop ball. They were looking for Stiegel. And in traffic, he couldn't come up with the football.
Calvin Tiggle may have just barely got his hands on that ball, but Reggie Slack threw the ball in the traffic. And Reggie knows that when you stand in this pocket long enough, sooner or later, you're going to take just a little bit of a smack. And in came Noah Canner.
2nd and 10, ball on the 27 of the Bombers. This has been their worst quarter of the year, and there's Stiegel with the catch and a first down at the Winnipeg 42-yard line. Well, a couple of weeks ago, he had a terrific game. 8 receptions, 172 yards, teaming up with Slack. And Stiegel just now adapting to that inside position.
Did an excellent job, and I think Reggie made a great call that time to come back to him on the previous pass, a very catchable ball. He comes right back to him again and says, listen, I got confidence in you. The safety was out in the middle. He went right to the post, made the big play.
First down, Bombers. And a give to Bryant, and he was smacked in the backfield by Noah Canner. The big guy out of St. Mary's was waiting for the running back as soon as he got his hands on the ball.
Unbelievable.
24 years of age, Ottawa native.
Now take a look. Just as Chris Walby pulls, all Cantor has to do is follow him, get right in the trail. The trap is going to be there behind it, and great acceleration, gets up, makes the tackle in the backfield for a big loss.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15. Tiggle up in the line of scrimmage, showing blitz. He'll drop off. Slack in the flat, it's complete. Tim Daniel coming across and down to the 48. Joe Sardo stopping his progress well short of the first down. And the Bombers in a punting situation.
Now you can see what Cal Murphy's saying. As soon as you catch that ball, you've got to get the ball up the field. Now here's the play right after. You can see some contact, Gerald Wilcox, and all of a sudden Tiggle, the linebacker. Now Wilcox is taking on the big guy in the middle. Tiggle may come back to haunt him again a little later on in this game.
Bob Cameron hunting to Jimmy Cunningham on 3rd down. Cunningham from his 21. And again, the Bombers do a good job on punt coverage against the explosive Cunningham. That's a 41-yard punt and a 2-yard return.
Well, back with you at Skydome. Even before today's win at BC Place, the Stamps had wrapped up first. Winnipeg had moved to within 2 of Hamilton tonight. First 5 go to the playoffs. Winnipeg would like to finish 4th and avoid going to Baltimore for a semifinal. They won't be selling many Sports Select tickets based on the Argos' chances of getting to the postseason, with Winnipeg, Memphis, and Calgary to finish. Argos have to win them all, Chris, and hope that Winnipeg and Saskatchewan lose all of theirs. Bet on the earth falling off its axis first.
Hey, you get pretty good odds, wouldn't you? Rob Creefall, they ruled, did not make the catch. K.D. Williams jarred it loose.
Take a look at the eyes. He's reading the quarterback, reading the throw. Now he's going to come up and get Creefall. Creefall's got a hold of that. That's a reception and a fumble. I think that the ref blew that call. And I think KD is having the same thing. He's on his knees saying a little prayer, just a little pleading with him.
That was pretty good appeal. 2nd and 10. Austin, and Fairholm was wrapped up. And it was the safety, Jason Mallett. And he wouldn't let Fairholm squeeze the football. It's 3rd down. Pretty good defensive series for the Bombers. Bob Obilovich just talking about trying to develop a winning attitude.
Take a look. That's number 4, Albert Brown. He's getting right in the face of Paul Mazzotti. And I think if you spin that helmet around and you get him looking out the ear hole, it kind of limits the percentages of them catching the ball.
Bombers had a lot of heat on Baker. Stiegel with the return. And he didn't get very far. 49-yard punt by the Argos, a 3-yard return.
Now get a 28-point winter inspection, oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a 4-liter jug of washer fluid, all for just $24.99, only at Canadian Tire.
First down, Bombers.
Reggie Slack going back to work for the Blue Bombers. 7-3, the Argonauts lead. 6:16 to go, first half. Last year when these two teams hooked up, a couple of shootouts, 54-34, 35-28. Bombers won both. This one has been a defensive struggle so far. Here's Stiegel with the catch in the Argos secondary, and now into Toronto territory at the 48. Ken Walcott, the safety, made the tackle. A 20-yard pickup for Milt Stiegel.
Reggie Slack with tremendous confidence as he came out from underneath the center. Great arm strength, able to hit it on just a quick slant. Stiegel behind the linebackers in front of the safety, made that catch, made the reception, and was able to continue this drive. Good possession drive right now for Winnipeg.
We got to get to know Stiegel because he owns a chicken wing restaurant in Nashville. I think we want to sample the wares. Reggie Slack on the run again, has a first down, and gets out of bounds ahead of the pursuit from Ken Walcott. Well, we talked about the knee earlier because Cal Murphy had Reggie Slack a couple of years ago, and because of knee problems, let him go.
Now take a look. There's Miles Guerrero working one-on-one against Lubo Zizakovic. Does a good job getting turned inside. That allowed Reggie Slack to be able to break containment and get outside. Now, Miles has told me, he said, listen, he said, I've seen kickers write books, stupid linebackers write books. He says, I got one coming out. I think pretty soon, look for it on your shelf. It's going to be called Miles from Nowhere.
Yeah, I like it.
You better. He's a big man.
First down, Slack rolling, firing, and has a completion to Tim Daniel. Daniel, the wideout, who's been struggling a little bit of late, particularly since the injury to the other starting wide receiver, Shannon Baker. But Daniel with a couple of catches so far tonight, working against Marcelo Simmons.
Puts a lot of pressure on him, as I said earlier, when you line Alan Boyko up on the outside. Not noted for his speed, but for his good pass route running and his sure hands. Tim Daniels becomes the speed guy, the deep threat. Reggie Slack showing some great versatility of mixing up his plays, sprinting both left and right, and that time making a good completion on the run.
Yeah, 3 plays, 3 first downs. That little toss inside. Blaze Bryant will be close to another first down at the 11-yard line.
And this is some of the fire you haven't seen Winnipeg possess too much through the course of this season. They had a great surge of excitement when they were playing against the Calgary Stampeders and had them down by 10, and unfortunately let that slip away. But right now they know that they're still in control of their own destiny, and those big guys up front can get the job done for them, and if they can buy a little time for Reggie Slack to be able to throw the ball, he has good success.
2nd and 1.
Free play.
Bryant again plunging. There's a flag, looked like an Argo jump. Bryant has the first down at the 6-yard line. You know, you mentioned Calgary. They played them tough twice. There's Jake Ireland signaling the offside. And they think they can finish 4th with 3 straight wins. They think they have a shot at finishing 4th. They get another crack at Calgary, and they are not intimidated by a chance to play the
Offside. Toronto number 16.
Just right at the top of your screen.
First down.
Maurice Kelly is the guy that gets caught on that stutter count by Reggie Slack. Gets the free play, sets it up. 1st and goal for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, you talk to some of them, and they'd like a shot at the Stampeders in the playoffs. Of course, they want to make the postseason, and they're still in a battle with Saskatchewan and an outside shot from Toronto. But if they tie Hamilton, they get the tiebreaker against the Ticats. Here's Bryant. Sweeping, touchdown, Blaze Bryant with a 6-yard run, and the Bombers regain the lead.
Good blocking right now. To just take a look, Blaze Bryant is going to get outside very quickly before Calvin Tiggle can get there. Makes the tackle, but not before. Blaze Bryant has had an opportunity to come off that right side behind Walby and Kevin Robinson and get the ball in the end zone for his 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, Reggie Slack had the offense going on all cylinders there. And Westwood adds the extra point. Exactly 3 minutes to go. First half in Toronto. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the Blaze Bryant touchdown have recaptured the lead. Great drive, 6 plays, 5 were first down. Blaze Bryant captain, 6-yard run. And the Bombers with a 10-7 lead. Late stages, first half, and Westwood to kick it off. Clements and Jimmy Cunningham awaiting the kick, and this time they kick away from Cunningham. And Norm Casola, one of the up men, has it. And Casola bounced off his own man and finally down at the 37-yard line. Good plan for the Bombers to kick away from Cunningham, who already has 121 yards in this game.
Let's take a look at the block, though. We're going to see it go. It's a good, excellent block. Stop it right here just for a moment. Walby gets, all of a sudden, he gets number 99, Kenny Walker, all walled off. I mean, and then Chris Johnstone gets a block, and then downfield, you're going to see right there, Wilcox is down making a block. Everybody, good team effort that time of being able to make the block to create the opening for Blaze Bryant.
Clements out of the backfield. And again, it's K.D. Williams there to meet Clements. Maybe 2 on the play. K.D. Williams out of Henderson State.
Second down, number 2.
I don't know what it is, Kep, but every time Winnipeg gets a linebacker, they all seem to fit that mold that we know from Winnipeg linebackers. Aggressive, boisterous.
There was only one, Greg Battle, who didn't quite fit it. He was the silent type, but he was sure stroking.
Flag down. Looked like that offensive line popped up early.
But if you think about it, we talk about, listen to Jake Garland for a second, but we talk about Greg Battle, great linebacker with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers out of Arizona State.
Coming up in our BF Goodrich TA halftime tonight, every time Miles Garrell hears he's on the way out, he says, big deal. I've been on the way out for 18 years, and I've enjoyed every one of them. You have to like his attitude, admire his achievement of 301 games played. He's in his 301st tonight. We'll hear from Garrell, and we'll review the proceedings at BC Place, where earlier the Stamps handled the Lions. Calgary now 3 wins away from 17-1.
2nd and 12, and Austin has an open receiver over the middle. That's John Morton. Playing his first game at the slot back position, has a gain of 17 yards. He said, I've got to get used to the motion, but I know it will be to my benefit. And Morton, a speedster out of Western Michigan with the catch.
Watch coming from the right top corner of your screen. Morton coming across, reading the zone, is able to get up in front before Ryan Carey, the safety, can come over and close on it. Ken Austin's able to hit him in stride, and he did show some quick feet on that pattern.
Out to Clemens, and he beats David Poole. Gets by K.D. Williams that time. Oh, what a move on the linebacker to get a couple more yards.
There used to be an old saying about Clemens, if you miss him the first time, just stand right there because he'll come back again. And all of a sudden, you may get 2 or 3 different times to hit him. K.D. Williams is lined up out there. It's a zone. Now I'm going to do it out there in the flat pattern. You come down, I'm going to break down. I'm doing everything absolutely perfect. Textbook. Wait a second.
Whoops.
Where did he go? K.D., as you saw, all you saw was the top of his head. As soon as he dropped his eyes, Michael Clemens took advantage and made his cut.
Quickly to Mazzotti, and Paul Mazzotti is down to the 36-yard line. Another Argo first down, so the offense is starting to gear up now for either side. Mazzotti getting close to that 1,000-yard season. Minute 51 to go, first half. Austin and the Argos trail by 3.
Ken Austin doing a good job mixing up his play selection, trying to keep this tenacious Winnipeg defense off balance, and he's doing a good job during the course of this drive.
Empty backfield over the middle. There's a completion to Clemens. Close to another first down at the 25. K.D. Williams, Greg Clark on the tackle. This is more like it as far as Bob Obilovich is concerned.
Bob Obilovich and Scott Spurgeon, the special teams coach, having a conversation. And the Twin Towers will all be on the left, Miles Garrell on the right.
Hey, Brandon, Christian, Clayton. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas.
About 680 pounds right there.
Happy Thanksgiving. He says, yeah, we got a truckload of turkeys coming over tonight. Those boys will be pretty good.
Injured Argo trying to get a number. And the ball at the 25-yard line. It is a first down for the Argonauts. Now that's Mike Dumoulin, the right tackle, being attended to. And that will cause some adjustments along the offensive line. Mike Dumoulin being assisted to the sidelines. Scott Douglas will come into the game along the offensive line. Giaskis will move to right tackle in Dumoulin spot. Scott Douglas will play at right guard. So first down, the Argonauts are moving. And in that pile-up, Dumoulin cut down.
It looked like Stan Mikolas that fell on his knee and ankle area.
And Mike Clemens met in the backfield by K.D. Williams. His mother suffered a heart attack earlier this week, and K.D. has dedicated this game to her. And he's been a force again so far tonight. He's telling Pinball, I found you that time.
Take a look at this. Big key in, looking at eyes right into the backfield, comes across really hard, sheds off the block, beats the block by Chris Johnstone, gets an ankle, and that's about the only way sometimes you can get Pinball down, but he got him down that time.
2nd and 13, flag down on the pass behind Rob Crefo. incomplete.
I think we're going to get offsides against Toronto that time. A couple of those receivers trying to get a quick head start downfield.
And it is offside against Winnipeg. Ken Austin had gone off the field. He thought it was going the other way.
Well,
or may not have seen the flag.
Offside. Winnipeg number 23. Repeat, second down.
Shannon Garrett, defensive halfback, was in the 1-yard restraining area. There's Dumoulin continuing to get attention at the Argo bench.
Mike Dumas, one of 4 players from Western on this Toronto squad.
2nd and 8, low shotgun snap. Austin getting it away. Fairholm, touchdown! Jeff Fairholm with his first touchdown of the year. Told you, Kemp, all he needed was that hole in one, and the rest would fall into place.
Oh, it's good. Now he gets a hole in one, he gets a touchdown. I got to play golf with him tomorrow. What am I ever excited?
23 yards, and the frustration of a 95 season where little's gone right has a silver lining right now for Jeff Fairholm. Here's a guy that averaged 9 touchdowns a season in Saskatchewan. That's just his 5th in 2 years for the Toronto Argonauts.
One of the classy guys in the Canadian Football League. But Ken Austin does a great job of reading the pattern. It's the post corner, but he really aims the ball up. He knows that Fairholm has number 20. That's Jason Mallett, the safety beat, and then all of a sudden they're playing the double safety, where now he just wants to give it where Jeff Fairholm can run underneath it and beat Ryan Carey before he gets over there. A happy Austin, and a relieved Austin, I think, and a very happy Jeff Fairholm.
And on this night, thankful might be a word too, because these two guys have had so much success together in Saskatchewan. They're close friends off the field.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody back home in Regina. Especially the Hollinger family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Back to receive the honors, number 4, Albert Brown, and number 85.
20-yarder to Jeff Fairholm puts the Argos back on top, 14-10, with 49 seconds left here in the first half. And after a slow start, particularly the first quarter, these two offenses are finding their stride. We might get that shootout kind of thing. There's a little bit of a breeze down on field level. That's twice the ball has blown off the tee.
But you and I were talking as we were coming to the game, Chris, the fact that these teams were so equally matched that statistically in every category in the CFL, offensively and defensively, they're within 2 or 3 places of one another.
Albert Brown at the 25-yard line. Yeah, all the categories are very even. I mean, Winnipeg clearly has had some momentum in recent weeks, but you get the sense that the Argos have been getting better, and week by week, and almost pulled the upset last week against Calgary. Yeah, there's
great report up there. Take a look. That's Ken Austin, and he is an integral part of putting this offense together. Sitting there talking with his offensive line, Pierre Berchevaux. And he's terrific. I think the point is Ken Austin, every place that he has been very involved with putting an offensive game plan together. And maybe for whatever reasons, some of that stuff is starting to take shape again here in Toronto.
And all you do is fake him to come back out. Throw a little fake to come back out. You don't know where to throw. Here you are, fine rusher, approach him, put your hands are going down, not going up. Don't worry about it. Don't let the guy's covered. Don't worry about it. Rush.
Mike Roach talking to Katie Williams, showing a little frustration on the sideline.
Mark Murphy over here, the offensive line coach of Toronto. Yeah, I'll give you the backer. Don't give me the backer. I'll give you the backer.
Hey, you hear what they said? I'll give you the backer. None of those offensive linemen want the backer. They want to pass him off. See, that's what I like about those guys. Those offensive linemen are so smart now.
43 seconds left. First down, and Reggie Slack airing it out. Tim Daniel was held up by Marcelo Simmons, and the ball falls incomplete.
Reggie Slack was expecting him to out and up all the way, and Tim Daniels, when he made the out cut, just stopped right in his tracks, and when he caught the vision and picked up side of the ball, tried to accelerate, but there was no chance that was going to be a completion.
.38 seconds left in this first half, and if Winnipeg is stopped here, the Argos might get the ball back.
I can tell you, with Cunningham back there, they'll get it in pretty good field position, too.
Bryant up the middle, and he gets to the 33-yard line, but 2 or 3 shy of the first down, and they will have to punt.
Toronto quickly trying to get on the field. The ball should be spotted, and then the whistle blown in.
Winnipeg had 38 yards offense. That was it in the first quarter. In the second quarter, 135 yards.
Kind of expected Toronto to take a timeout there.
I think they've used it, Kep.
Yep.
They did use it. And now it's up to Cunningham. They'll let it run down. 1 second left as the ball is snapped on the 22nd clock. And here's Cunningham from his own 34. And Jimmy Cunningham with the seam again. He's down with 3 seconds to go at the 44-yard line. John Wade Miller with the tackle, a 14-yard return. Jimmy Cunningham, 135 yards of all-purpose work so far tonight, just the first half of play. And the Argos with a 14-10 lead.
Cunningham does such an excellent job of making you believe as a coverage guy that he's going to try to work as hard as he can, give yardage like you see a Henry Gizmo Williams do, to get to the wall. And as you start to spread out as a coverage guy, he hits one little seam and then accelerates and picks up 20 yards.
Let's see if they go one shot deep. Austin just flares it out and pinball. Like pinball, Clemens cutting back. Looking for some help. T.D. Williams runs him down, and a big hit to close out the first half. It was a pickup of 21, but time is out here. And pinball a little slow to get up here. That's the end of the first half. Argos leading by 4.
Welcome to the BF Goodrich TA Halftime. Now, here's your host, Scott Oak.
Halftime at Skydome and the Argos lead. There was some talk about who would quarterback the team at Bomber training camp last June, but the number one topic of conversation was Miles Gorell's weight. 340 pounds, he incurred the wrath of Cal Murphy and suffered through daily media reports as to his latest weight, but he's nothing if not a survivor, and in a league where some careers last only a game or two, Gorell is playing in his 301st tonight.
Oh, look way up. Where's Rusty and Jerome? Oh, look way up.
Well, I was born, a poor child in the suburbs. No, I was born in Edmonton, a happy kid. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had food, so what else do you need? I think I was 8'10", 8'12", something like that. Not the world's largest kid, but I was very prodigious at eating from the very beginning. I think I was 30 pounds by the time I was a year old. Depending on the growth spurts I had, because sometimes I just grow and I'd have a scab on my forehead right here from running into things that just didn't seem to be there the day before. I'd grow. My dad would go away for 2 weeks and he'd come back and he's shorter than me. So I don't see myself as, above average human being in size. I just I'm in the family sizes, economy sort of package. I'm made for a whole family. That's why I love kids, so I can go out and play with lots of kids and I don't get tired.
There's no rush, guys. Don't lose a finger.
I love the telephone. I'm always on the telephone, and it's always ringing. And I love people, and so I have friends all over Canada and the United States that I talk to, and mostly it's my family. that I have a sister in Ottawa and a sister in Calgary and a brother in Vancouver, and my parents live in Lacombe, Alberta, and I got friends in Montreal, and I probably talk to each one of those people I just mentioned at least once a week. And I spend about $500 a month on the phone bills, and MTS likes me, and Cantel likes me, and have a good time. I've been having fun. That's all I ever do is enjoy myself, and it's been an enjoyable time. I unfortunately have to talk about being at an age where I have to think about retiring, because after 300 games, it's just one of those things that came along as I was playing. Not I played to play 300 games. I played in 300 games because that's where my career took me. I could have finished last season and gone out happy, man. It doesn't matter when I retire from the game. I'm going to be happy. I've done most everything I've ever wanted to do in my life. So there's very few mountains that I still have to climb for those personal reasons. And I look forward to the future. Every day is a new day, and you can go out and have fun.
It's one of the last remaining active players who can claim to have played with the Alouettes, the first position player to have reached the 300-game mark, and he's second in games played to Lou Pasaglia. At the Skydome, the Argos lead the Bombers through 30 minutes. We'll continue in just a moment. Argos aren't out of the race yet. Loss to the Bombers would finish them, but they lead at the half here at Skydome on a perfect fall night. No problem figuring out who was favored in our earlier game at BC Place. The Stamps went into it on a huge roll, while the Lions had won just one of their previous 5. Did the game follow the form chart? Here's Steve Armitage with the details.
Scott, with plays like this, Danny McManus to Robert Gordon. This one covered 34 yards. It made it 13-8. The BC Lions owned the first half offensively. But in the second half, the Calgary Stampeders, under the direction of Jeff Garcia, came alive. Garcia running one in for the 5th time in 3 weeks. That made it 27-20 Calgary. And then Garcia took to the airwaves. He hit Vince Danielson, his 22nd TD pass of the season. That made the count 34-20. And then Garcia hooked up with Terry Vaughn, his 2nd touchdown of the game, 23rd TD pass of the year for Garcia. That made the count 41-20. The Lions struck late in the game, but the afternoon belonged to Jeff Garcia, not going to Disneyland, but has his sights clearly set on Grey Cup 95 in Regina. The Calgary Stampeders win a 4th straight division title, 41-27 winners over the BC Lions here at BC Place Stadium this afternoon. Scott?
With the Lions loss, it's shaping up as an Edmonton, BC semifinal. Chris Sandan with me now. Kep, a connoisseur of fine defense like yourself, would appreciate much of what he saw in the first half here.
On both sides of the ball, I think they are really attacking one another. I tell you what, the addition of Tiggle on the Toronto defensive side has really inspired those. And you can see with the new addition of guys like Kenny Walker and Pressberry, it's having its effect for Winnipeg also.
Chris, we talked to Jeff Fairholm last week. He talked about his pregame ritual. It's bizarre. He's got to get into bed the right way, get out of bed the right way. Takes about 5 days to complete. It finally worked in that first half.
I'll tell you, the hole-in-one has changed everything. The luck has turned, and that was a big touchdown catch by him. The offense has started to get it going in the second quarter.
Quick toss this time to Blaze Bryant. Good blocking downfield, Chris Johnstone, and also Gerald Wilcox getting the ball into the end zone is Blaze Bryant. And then Ken Austin does a terrific job of reading the defense and hanging the ball out so that Jeff Fairholm can run underneath it and make it second major.
All right, the Argo offense getting into gear late in the first half of this game.
And Jimmy Cunningham was a big factor again. 121 yards in returns in the first half. This guy almost has 1,000 yards, and this is 5th game in the league.
So that'll do it for the B.F. Goodrich TA halftime report. Second half coming up next from Skydome in Toronto with the Argos in front by 4. Argos in front as we head for the second half at Skydome. Here is Bob Nicholson, president of the Toronto Argonauts. Bob, no one's quite sure who even owns your team with the sale of Labatt's. Are you able to make plans for next year?
Well, yes, we are, Scott. We're trying to move ahead. I think one of the things we got caught on last year is we waited too long because of the delay in the schedule to start our marketing program. So we're going to try as best we can to get going and do as much as we can once the season ends.
You know, Torontonians love the big time, and Doug Flutie is big time. Were he available from the Calgary Stampeders, would the Argos be interested?
Well, I think you would have to always consider Doug Flutie if he were available, although we think we've got a lot of depth at quarterback, and we just think we got a better team than we've shown to date in this season.
He would put some fans in the seats here, though. You know that.
Yes, you put some fans in the seats here. We just don't know if we put enough in there to afford them.
All right, thank you, Bob, for your time.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, set now for the second half. Here are Chris and Dan.
All right, Scott, thank you. 14-10 as we start the second half of play, and the Argonauts will kick it off. Ken Burris and Milt Stiegel are deep, and this will be Burris from his 10. And Burris nailed as he crossed the 30-yard line. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers go off to work on offense after the 65-yard kickoff and 22-yard return. The numbers after the first half. And pretty even all around.
Pretty even except for the discrepancy in the rushing game, and I think that's where probably Toronto's going to need to try to run pinball, or even Chris Johnstone a couple of times. I mean, or in this case, Dwayne Ford, I should say, to try to get them the ball a bit, just to get the defense of Winnipeg to bite inside a little bit, to set up some of the play action that Ken Austin likes to run.
Burris shaken up on the play. Just another note on pinball. The Argos ran 20 offensive plays in the first half, and pinball was involved in 13 of them. Burris took a real hit on the kickoff return, and they're checking the right knee. Another note statistically in that first half for the Argonauts, they converted 7 of 12 second down situations. In fact, 5 of them on their touchdown scoring drive.
And both of these teams through the course of the first half put together some fairly impressive drives, possession drives, kept the ball, moved the sticks down the field, and came away with points at the end of it.
Find out what happened to Burris. Sheldon Benoit making contact in there. I'm not sure if the helmet nailed the knee or not.
Part of that suicide squad that just goes down there, finds the wedge, drops your head down a bit, and just plows right through it. Look to be able to catch just either the shin or the ankle area of Ken Burris.
Benoit is the leading specialty teams tackler for the Argonauts. Burris shaken up on the first play of the second half. Mike Clemens smiling now, but he was really jarred by K.D. Williams on that last play of the first half and was slow to get up.
K.D. still has that kind of attitude as a linebacker. If I'm going to chase you all over the field, there's no time left on the clock. If I'm going to run that far, I'm going to make you pay for it just a little bit right at the end. Now watch K.D. come right from the right of your screen, and it's full weight right on the back of Michael Clemens, so it keeps Michael between KD and the turf. He's still smiling. I'll tell you what, he's got my vote for the most smiling in the CFL anyway.
Well, Burris hobbling, but at least putting some weight on that right knee, and they've already lost Darius Watson tonight. And so it might be getting a little thin in that Winnipeg secondary. Right now, though, it's the Bombers' offense going to work. First series of this second half, and the Blue Bombers down by 4. Reggie Slack out of the backfield. Big Chris Johnstone up to the 40-yard line, and Chris has close to 8. His first reception of the game, Tommy Henry the tackle.
Chris Johnstone, one of those guys that's just steady, and he's just one of the kind of person that gives you 200% every time. Great blocker, excellent pass receiver when he gets an opportunity. Reggie stats for tonight: 10 of 16, 122 yards, 1 big interception, a missed stone ball deep in his own end.
And they did have to take a 56-yard reception off the boards because of a penalty. Blake Bryant crashing through the middle for a first down. Calvin Tingle with the tackle, and Willie Jennings made first contact as Burris gets attention on the sidelines.
Ross Hodgkinson, the trainer on the left, taking a good look at that angle. Obviously, it's getting a little thin in the middle. Talking about middle, there's an excellent block by Dave Van Conen on Tiggle as he goes out. His eyes are looking in the backfield. Van Conen takes the chance to cut him down.
First down, Slack rolling. Cummins cut it off, so he turns the other way. There are flags down, and Don Wilson down Slack at the 50-yard line. Gain of 3. The flag down, and Chris Walby is down as well without the helmet on.
Chris Welby, you can take a look right into the face there, in the mouth there. He's got some blood coming out of there as that helmet came off. It gets tough down there in the trenches.
15 years in the
Chop
game.
block. Winnipeg number 63. Repeat, first down.
Well, he looked like the victim, but instead he's the guilty party here. Brett McNeil was working on Cummins, but
kind of looked like they looked like they got tied up, and that was actually looked more of a holding call there. But on the other side of the ball, away from that play, there's where Chris Walby was called, and you can see having a little trouble.
Well, let's take a look at the chop block that was called as the penalty.
Let's hold it right there, just 1 second. And you can see there's Chris Walby. He's right behind. He's already down on the ground. And there's the cut block that he takes place on. Looks like number 90.
That's Jennings.
5, Willie Jennings. And he just cuts him down from behind. And the refs were right on top of that call.
So it's back at the 32-yard line. It's 1st and 25. And Walby out of the game. Jim Smurl is in. And the quick hitter over the middle. Wilcox breaks a tackle and is nailed by Sardo. Back up at the 48-yard line. That's just over the original line of scrimmage. Pickup of 17 for Gerald Wilcox. Chris Walby has never missed the playoffs in 15 years in this league.
Take a look. Just that first step right off the line of scrimmage. Quick eyes back to the right to the quarterback. Reggie Slack puts that ball down low on the numbers. And Gerald Wilcox is able to keep his body between he and the defender. It ends up in a good reception and a first down.
4th catch for Wilcox, 50 yards, and it's Bryant with the catch. Calvin Tiggle tackles Bryant, but they do get the first down, so they move the yardsticks despite the first 25 situation. Walby getting attention, and the offense staying alive for Winnipeg.
Calvin Tiggle showing some great mobility, getting to the outside with, he's going to dump that pass off very hot to Blaze Bryant as he's releasing out of the backfield, but not before. A first down for Winnipeg.
At the Argo 51, first down Winnipeg. Lots of time and a completion. That's Tim Daniel with another catch at the 40. It should be enough for another Winnipeg first down. Slack hooking up with Daniel, checking the wrist. Winnipeg, though, has missed the exciting Shannon Baker, who really lit it up in a short time. Out with a shoulder injury now, and Cal Murphy lamenting that yesterday. He says he's never seen anybody really light it up in this league as quickly as Shannon Baker did.
Both as a receiver, and he gives him the same thing as Cunningham does for Toronto. A great return man.
First down, looking for Stiegel, and it's incomplete. Tommy Henry, step for step with Milt Stiegel. Rookie out of Miami, Ohio, and Slacker. Great star at Auburn University. This is how he has mixed it up so far tonight.
Great game plan, because then in this case, it puts a lot of pressure on defenses to try to figure out who's your go-to guy. You're trying to figure out, you would say right offhand, it's Wilcox, but you can see that he has really mixed it up, equaled it, and balanced it out across the board.
Yeah, only Boyko, the one wideout, has not caught a pass out of that Winnipeg offensive attack.
Safety blitz.
Ball tipped off one set of hands and almost into the outstretched arms of Tim Daniel, and it brings up third down.
Kelly on the coverage, incomplete, third down for the Bombers.
Intended receiver Gerald Wilcox.
What they do, they get an opportunity to read that the safety, Ken Walcott, is out of the middle. Gerald Wilcox tries to set it up, goes to the post pattern, fills the space that has been vacated by the safety blitzing. The ball just blazes off of his hands.
And so Troy Westwood is brought on to attempt a 45-yarder. Bob Cameron is the holder. Westwood 30 of 42 on the year.
8 for 11 from this distance.
And the left footer puts it through. So the Blue Bombers score the first points of this second half, and Westwood gets Winnipeg to within 1. here in Toronto.
As soon as Chris Walby was hurt, I headed immediately to the field to find out what was wrong with him. He split the inside of his lip and may require stitches, but doesn't look like anything serious enough to keep him out of this game. And Ken Barres, the defensive back who went down to start the second half, twisted his knee, but he looks pretty limber here on the sidelines, moving up and down the bench area, and will try and go back in. Chris?
Argos will go back to work on offense after this kickoff return by Michael Clements. And Pinball picking his way and somersaulting up to the 45. Alan Wedmore with the tackle. 25-yard return for Michael Clements, who was extremely active in the first half under the direction of Kent Austin. There are the numbers so far tonight for number 5.
He's had a good game plan, and the only thing that I haven't seen him do as much as I thought that he may do was try to run Pinball a little bit, maybe to the wide side, to the outside, not so much inside against this Winnipeg defense.
Mike Dumoulin back in the lineup. They swing another pass out to Mike Clements, and boy, a wave of white. Greg Clark was there, K.D. Williams, David Poole, and Pinball didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, this is the perfect kind of zone defense that you run as Winnipeg. You force everything to be thrown short, and then you stay very disciplined. You react up to the ball. You stay in your zone and in your lanes, as Winnipeg did then, and they were able to surround Pinball, didn't give him any place to go, and they stopped this for no gain.
Out of the shotgun. Austin stands in, delivers high, and almost picked off. Ryan Carey was the closest man to the football. The intended receiver was John Morton. So quickly, 2 and out for the Argos on their first possession.
Ken Austin is going out, and you can just check his right hand. See how it's holding it up? I think when he released that ball, he caught the back of the helmet. It was either Carl Coulter or Chris Gioscas. And then he goes off on the sideline. You can see now he's getting his wrist looked at, or his hand or thumb. He's had some problems. Take a look now as he releases this ball, and this is one of the reasons it goes a little high. It doesn't. He catches the arm of number 72, Colin Scribner.
Argos get a good bounce that time. Stiegel way back and almost snuck through the hole, but at the 15-yard line, Bombers will be in a bit of a hole to start the second half. That's a 57-yard punt by Terry Baker and a 6-yard return. And it looked like things were starting to heat up there, Jeff, on piling. As we continue to monitor Ken Austin, who had a dislocated finger earlier this season, one of many injuries for Austin. And that's all they need.
You can see he went immediately to taking a look at his hand. You can't really tell. I mean, from this angle, you couldn't see if there was a finger or anything that was dislocated. It looked like he was having more problem with the thumb or the wrist area.
Reggie Slack quickly missing Wilcox with the pass. Joe Miro also had a shot on the ball. Well, I'm no doctor, but if his hand starts to look like yours, he's in trouble.
Well, I think he would be a much better athlete. If his hand starts to look like mine, maybe he can still play defense, that's for sure. He may not be able to grip the ball properly and throw it.
Looks like he just tested it and got the result he wanted. But you can go right down the list of injuries Austin has experienced this year. 2nd and 10, Bombers backed up. Slack over the middle and has the completion. That's a big first down as they get it to Stiegel in front of Joe Fuller. That'll move the yardsticks.
This was a good throw by Reggie Slack. Sets up, he reads the zone defense, he comes up underneath it and throws the ball low enough that Stiegel's able to get his body between he and Joe Fuller, and he comes up with a good reception. Dave Van Konen doing another good job of running the middle linebacker, Calvin Tiggle, out of the play and creating good view down the corridor for Reggie Slack.
Sean Knight is getting ready just in case he's needed. There's a fumble, and the Argos are on the football. With Burke has a fumble recovery as the exchange from Slack to Bryant. Creates the loose football.
Swift Birch, just a terrific addition. Straight handoff, a search series. The ball is deep. It hit Blaze Bryant right on the hip. He just continues to run. And the guy with the heads-up play is Swift Birch. 1994, Toronto's top rookie of the year.
So the Argonauts in business thanks to Birch's fumble recovery at the Winnipeg 31.
It's plays like that that earned him CFL Defensive Player of the Week last week.
Crefo is nailed by Greg Clark. Well, we saw the play a few weeks ago. Crefo looking downfield, and he threw a touchdown pass to Paul Mazzotti. They tried it to the other side, and Crefo dropped the ball as he was looking for an open receiver.
And he had it wide open, too. Crefo threw a 56-yard touchdown pass to Mazzotti versus Hamilton. Here comes the pass. Then he's just looking. You can see right before he catches it, he makes one of those human errors again of trying to look downfield to find the receiver before he actually caught the football.
Jimmy Cunningham was open short. John Morton was deep. Crefo couldn't deliver the ball. Now on 2nd and 10, here is Clements spinning away, and pinball stretching out to the 25. I said 2nd and 10. It was 2nd and 19. 15 yards for Clements there, but they're 4 yards shy.
You're allowed to say that. Occasionally. Good play this time, though, as far as Austin setting up the screen. Michael Clements getting enough people out in front of him. Very careful at picking his spot, picking his blocks, and trying to set it up. Winnipeg doing an excellent job of rallying around Michael Clements and stopping him short of the first down.
Already tonight, the Argos have been called twice for time count violations on specialty teams, and there was a little bit of extra activity and scrambling before they got into this alignment, but they do get it off, and Winnipeg jumped offside. Baker has missed the field goal. It goes for a single point, but Winnipeg may give the Argos a first down.
We've seen some real mental discipline errors on both sides of the football, and this constitutes another one that happens to be on Winnipeg, if in fact it is offsides.
Offside, Winnipeg number 2, first down.
Wow.
David Poole in the corner.
Nickel.
And what David's trying to do is get the jump on the ball and see if he can get the block on it. He understands.
And what David better do is find some cover so he doesn't have to deal with Cal Murphy on the sideline.
Right at the bottom of your screen, you can see how he gets caught in the neutral zone. You're exactly right. You don't want to go to the sideline with Cal Murphy.
Mazzotti on the hit screen down to the 10. That's close to another first down. Stan Mikolas may have saved the touchdown. He took Mazzotti's shoe off and just was able to knock him off stride.
This is the third time that they run the hitch screen. The first time they got caught for an illegal block with the newcomer John Morton, but this time they get the block downfield. They pull out Scott Douglas, the tackle that has taken the place of Mike Dumarest, and he gets the ball outside, and this is Paul Mazzotti's second consecutive season of 1,000 yards receiving. He's got 1,002. 1994, he was 1,280.
There's the measure, and the Argos might be better off a couple of inches short. Second down situation, they'll get an extra play down in the red zone. So Mazzotti over 1,000 yards once again. And the Argonauts on the move already with one touchdown tonight on a drive that was continued by a Winnipeg penalty. Austin Submarines for the first down. 5:13 to go, third quarter. Argos up by 1. And after the offside against David Poole on the field goal attempt, the missed field goal, the Argos have a first and the Winnipeg 8.
This has been a team since the change of coaches, the change of philosophy, have progressively gotten a little better every week. They just haven't been able to win the game. So sooner or later, it's going to happen for Toronto.
And for Clements, touchdown! Austin to Clements. Pinball scored one on the ground, has one through the air, and the Argos up their lead.
came from the miscue mentally of the Winnipeg field goal block team. And David Poole jumping offside. But what they wanted to do, Ken Austin, was concentrate on getting Pinball Clements vertical from a spread formation and take advantage of that. And that's exactly what they did in that touchdown.
Fourth touchdown reception for Mike Clements this year. And he now has 7 touchdowns on the season. And the Argos have an 8-point lead here in the third quarter. Well, Mike Clements has been in the end zone a couple of times tonight, capping that drive. And again, the offside penalty by Winnipeg was key in that drive.
Also key is the fact that Toronto offensive line has been buying Ken Austin a lot of time to throw the ball. And as I said, when they buy time like that, Winnipeg plays some zone defense. Ken Austin will find the open spot, and this time it happened to be with Michael Clements.
Stiegel across the 35-yard line, and he's up to the 40 with flags flying. 21-yard return for Stiegel. Cal Murphy still doing a slow burn on the sidelines. Will this be the night that Mike Clements and the Argonauts end a 9-game losing streak?
Winnipeg number 7. First down.
Call against Ryan Carey.
Fans, we have a winner from the Master Choice Sandwich section.
Murphy's team had lost 7 straight on the road before last week's victory in Hamilton. And the ball marched back to the 29-yard line. The longest losing streak in Argo history is 12 games. That was over 2 seasons, 1980-81.
Services location behind section 120 to redeem your prize.
And Winnipeg now. First down, Reggie Slack, Don Wilson blitzing, and wide open, Stiegel. Nice move there, and Milt Stiegel still going, and down to the 48-yard line of Toronto. 33 yards for Stiegel.
Maximum protection, and this time when they have both the backs in the backfield, picked up the blitzing Don Wilson. That allowed Reggie Slack to make a very athletic throw to the quick corner route, and Stiegel shows some good quick feet after catching the ball.
Little shake and bake from the guy who has his own chicken wing restaurant there.
Give him hot, extra hot, baby.
Slack in trouble and down, and Noah Cantor stripped the ball, and the Argos have it. What a play by Cantor. He brought Slack down and put the ball at the same time. Well, Noah Cantor's having quite a night. The kid out of St. Mary's comes up big and gives the Argos the football right back.
Coach Obelovich paid that young man one of those highest compliments by saying, this guy is an athlete. He can run. He can make a lot of things happen.
And he has here for Toronto in the third quarter. For the 59th time this year, a Winnipeg quarterback sacked, and it creates a turnover.
Just a good arm under and just a heavy speed rush right upfield. He's able to beat Kevin Robson. Knocks the arm loose of Reggie Slack and also comes up with the return and the recovery.
Argos 8-point lead, have the ball, and Austin overthrowing Jeff Fairholm. Incomplete. Just a note on the protection for Winnipeg quarterbacks this year. That was always a trademark of Winnipeg. They didn't give up sacks. 1993, they allowed 20, and 94, 31 this year. 57 going into the game, and 2 more tonight.
59. And that's been a big problem with the protection scheme that doesn't allow whoever is the quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to do and execute properly.
Austin again out to Clements. And look at the Bombers pursue. Pinball squirted through. And at the 50 of Winnipeg has a gain of 5 when it didn't look like he'd have anything. Glenn Scribner came across to finish off Clements, but it's a punting situation.
Throws it out to the flat, and it's an easy pattern for all the defenders to read. All of a sudden, Michael just does a little bit of that shake and bake himself, gets the defenders to stop in their tracks, and all of a sudden then he's able to spin through, and he keeps working hard. He gives you the most second, third, and fourth effort of anybody I've seen in this league.
2.5 minutes to go, third quarter, as this one bounces out of bounds at the 15-yard line. So the Blue Bombers are backed up. 35-yard punt. Just a final thought on those quarterback sacks as Bob Obilovich looks on and must like the way things are progressing here. And I know the Bombers have said that a lot of those quarterback sacks this year are quarterback sacks, like not the offensive lineman's fault, but they've had so many different quarterbacks in before settling on Slack and McDougall. A lot of them were just holding on to the football too long.
Well, they haven't had the ability to have the quarterback, the receivers all working together, that everything is just sixth sense. I mean, it's right there. It's without even thinking about it. You're playing football. It's reacting. The quarterback holds the ball one count too long. He's supposed to take 3 steps. He takes 4 steps, and things like that all happen. And when those things don't happen properly, you get sacks.
And Donnie Wilson just nailed Milt Stigl on the quick hitter over the middle. Incomplete, and it'll be a second down.
Donnie Wilson, he's a wily old veteran that'll set you up a bit, trying to make Reggie Slack think that the hot route is there, and all of a sudden he has to dump it off. Then he's going to roll up on that receiver very quickly. He's either going to make the pick, and he's made 6 of them so far this year, or he's going to make the hit, as he just did.
Yeah, the hot route's been there at times tonight, but Wilson shut the door that time. 2nd and 10. Good protection over the middle, and Gerald Wilcox has the catch. At the 32, it's a first down. Joe Fuller bringing down Wilcox. But that's a big pickup by Wilcox, 17 yards.
Again, they're playing the zone defense. Wilcox just tries to work in behind the linebackers and in front of the safety, Ken Walcott. Big Walby's back in the game. Cut lip and all, does an excellent job on number 99, Jeff Cummings, keeping him away. Quick release by Reggie Slack keeps those defenders at bay.
Wilcox has 67 yards in the game, and Blaze Bryant up the middle to the 38 has 6. Calvin Tiggle made the tackle. Middle linebacker out of Georgia Tech. Bringing down Bryant.
6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4.
4 times in the last 5 years, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have had the leading rusher in the CFL, but that won't be the case this year. Bryant coming into the game in 10th spot. Second and 4. And Slack is picked off. Fuller stayed in bounds. Reggie Slack cut him off, and finally he's brought down inside the 10-yard line. Well, turnovers on back-to-back possessions. Joe Fuller has his 2nd interception of the game, and the Toronto Argonauts are in position to really put Cal Murphy behind the 8 ball.
One of those plays, Reggie Slack just was going to force the ball in there no matter what. He's reading the inside slot back, which is Stigl. The ball is thrown behind him. If you're going to throw the out, the one thing you're going to do is either throw it short or throw it in front of the guy, but don't throw it behind the guy. They get good blocking outside. Gorell's out. He's able to take care of Jeff Cummings, keep him out of the flow of the ball and the path of the ball, but not before Joe Fuller has an opportunity to pick that off.
Should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Clements on the sweep, and Pinball Clements is down out of bounds near the 1. So the Argonauts knocking at the door thanks to the Joe Fuller interception. We'll come back to Skydome for the 4th quarter. Argos with an 8-point lead, trying to add to that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game from Skydome in Toronto, where the Argonauts take an 8-point lead into the 4th quarter, and that score could change very quickly. They have a first. Check that, a 2nd down and goal from the 1. There's where Pinball stepped out of bounds. I think Winnipeg felt the spot was a little generous for the Argonauts because the ball spotted close to the 1-yard line.
take a look at the Toronto as they look up at the Sky Dome and the big screen here. They think it may be exactly where it needs to be.
Hope they're not celebrating too early on that Argo bench. Miles Gurrell, all 6'8", 325, give or take 10 or 20 pounds, is in on that defensive line now to bulk it up.
Jake Garland's over on the sideline. He had a little conversation with Cal Murphy right before, and he was at the timetable on the sideline, comes back on the field with a smile on his face. Not many people leave conversations with Cal Murphy smiling.
There was a discussion apparently about whether or not the roof should close. They asked both teams whether they would close the roof, and Cal said no, because Winnipeg will get the wind, whatever wind is down there, in the fourth quarter.
It's a funny kind of wind. You talk to some of the kickers who are very concentrated on about that. They pay a lot of attention to that, how much it swirls inside here. It changes quite a bit.
The referees might be getting cool, but I guarantee you, Cal Murphy is not cold down on those sidelines.
He still hasn't gotten over that jumping off sides on the missed field goal yet.
I'll tell you what, I came here at about 4 o'clock and the roof was closed, and I was disappointed because it was a great night here. We asked Reggie Slack about it. He wanted it open, and nice to be playing under the stars tonight. And here's the star, Clemens to the goal line. Touchdown, his third of the game.
Look off that left side. Pierre Berchevaux, John Terry, Carl Coulter is the center. This is the same group of guys they decided to run behind the last time. He gets the big lead by Dwayne Ford, then he gets up high and he just hurdles himself over top of the pile and falls in for the major.
Terry Baker to expand the lead. A flag went down. And pending the penalty, it's 28-13 Toronto. The Argonauts have averaged less than 3 points per game in the fourth quarter this season.
Offside, Winnipeg number 4. Convert is good. 5 yards on the kickoff. Albert Brown called on the offside. Counter dive. All they do is they hand it to Michael Clemens deep, give him enough room where he can take a leap, get vertical, let the pile take him through, and get into the end zone for 6.
Came into the game with 2 touchdowns on the ground, has doubled that tonight, has one through the air as well. And less than a half minute into the fourth quarter, the Argonauts with that 15-point lead, but a whole lot can happen yet.
Still holds the record, 1990, 3,300 all-purpose yards. An incredible feat. He came into this game 4th in the CFL in all-purpose yards with 1,900 and 5th in the CFL in rushing.
Winnipeg offside, so they kick off from the 40, and it's Daniel from his 10-yard line. And Tim Daniel nailed at the 25. P.J. Martin with the first contact. And that's where Winnipeg will put the ball in play when we return.
Now get a 28-point winter inspection, oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a 4-liter jug of washer fluid, all for just $24.99, only at Canadian Tire.
Doing a few adjustments to Mike Clemens. The offense is, after being tinkered with for 9 weeks, is starting to click for the Argos. And of course, that was a short drive after the Joe Fuller interception. Well, now Reggie Slack has to get something going for Winnipeg. Looking for Gerald Wilcox, and getting a hand on that was Tommy Henry. Wilcox felt he was interfered with and is letting the official know about it. Tony Mikulek getting an earful from Gerald Wilcox after that incompletion.
Take a look as Gerald's going to try to do the swim pattern and then just run a corner and run away from Tommy Hendry. Little contact right before the ball got there. I guess they're calling it incidental. Tommy Hendry, nicknamed Prime Time, who played behind Dion and also Terrell Buckley of Florida State University. You got to tell him that name's been taken.
2nd and 10, and Johnstone, the intended receiver, and that was all picked off by Marcelo Simmons. All those passes in the flat have become an adventure. Fuller picked one off in the last series, and Simmons almost had one, and maybe 6.
What it looks like to me is the fact that when Reggie comes out from under that center, he has his mind made up where he's going to throw the ball, and he really is seem to be forcing it in there. A couple of times they've been knocked down close to interceptions. One time Joe Fuller picked off one, and this last pass was almost picked off.
The Jet revving it up. Jimmy Cunningham awaiting the punt from Bob Cameron. Cunningham will take this. The Argo 50 dropped the football and just got back on it. That's just about the only way you can contain Cunningham on punt returns. Just 4 yards after a 35-yard punt. Now Ken Austin and the Argo offense has a chance to put this one out of reach, perhaps. One more score might do it. And if it did, they would fuel thoughts that maybe this team still has an outside shot at the playoffs. They need to win tonight in all 3 games, and Saskatchewan cannot win again for the Argos to make the playoffs. Fake to Clemens. Austin has Jeff Fairholm, and Fairholm taken down by the safety, Jason Mallett. That's a first down. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will play the Argos in their next game. They have a bye and will finish against Ottawa. As far as the Bombers were concerned, 4 straight wins, starting with last week against Hamilton, would not only give them the playoffs, but they felt might give them an outside shot at 4th place.
Well, there's a tremendous amount of time left in this game, and I'm sure that no one on that Winnipeg side has decided to pack their suitcase.
Another pass out to Clemens, and he just got out of the way of the freight train, K.D. Williams. Wow. K.D. got a piece. Clemens may have saved his life by just getting out of the way.
Michael Clemens is very lucky that all of a sudden he tries to make the good spin move back inside. Big, strong arm. Right hand slides out there by KD. That's a good tackle out in the open field. 9 times out of 10, Clemens will make any linebacker or defensive back miss that tackle.
2nd and 11. Austin, Cunningham drops the football. And an incompletion there, and it's 2 and out for Ken Austin. .11:42 to go. And Terry Baker called upon to pin the Bombers. Stiegel and Daniel are deep. Baker to the corner. Daniel from his 7. Gets by the first man. Maurice Kelly is there, and he's hanging on. And I think the whole play is dead. There were whistles on the field, and
exactly. Just at the snap of the ball, there was a couple of whistles that took place on the field. Terry Baker continued with the kick. Let's see if Jake can get this under control.
He's called a timeout to sort it out. And when we come back, we'll probably have to do it all over again. Welcome back to Skydome, where there is some confusion and heated up Cal Murphy. And Kep, the only thing we can ascertain right now or speculate on is that whistle may have come from the crowd, because the play is going to stand. Winnipeg is backed up at their own 13. There was a heated conversation at the timekeeper's bench involving Jake Ireland and Cal Murphy, and then Ireland went right across the field, and I can only anticipate was checking into security, because apparently there was a whistle in the crowd.
But there was no doubt that there was whistles. I mean, I heard with this marvelous hearing aid that I have, it picks up a lot of things. But you could hear whistles being blown right after the snap of the ball, indicating that maybe there was illegal procedure, a time count violation, or something that took place. And then when Siegel did make the return, make the catch, he actually just kind of stopped after a while and gave a lackluster effort because he just anticipated that ball coming back.
Now we're told in the corner near the Argonaut dressing room, a fan had a whistle taken away, and the fan is being removed from the Sky Dome. So that apparently the problem.
Go deep.
And while the discussions continue, let's recap what happened tonight. Winnipeg got on the board first after a scoreless first quarter, but then Clements, first of 3 touchdowns on the night. Blaze Bryant got Winnipeg back in front before Jeff Fairholm with his first touchdown of the year at the second half. Westwood field goal got them within 1, but then Clements, the touchdown pass from Ken Austin, then Clements again, this time on the ground. And it's a 15-point lead with 11:26 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Cal Murphy's team in danger of losing its 8th road game of the season.
Well, I've got a better penalty for that guy that blew the whistle. I think we should send him over and let Cal talk to him a little bit.
Yep. First down is Slack, just pulled it down and got across the line of scrimmage up to the 15.
That's exactly what happened. There was a whistle from the crowd, and as a result, Bomber punt returner pulled up, and there was no return because they thought the play was dead. And Cal Murphy ran over furious. He wanted the play, or I should say the down repeated, but the officials didn't go along with that, and he, as you can see, is still steamed.
Second and 8. Reggie Slack. And incomplete, intended for Stiegel. It's third down, and the Bombers have to punt. Donnie Wilson was putting heat on Reggie Slack.
The gun secondary of the Toronto Argonauts are doing an excellent job of coverage and forcing Reggie Slack to have to throw the ball into coverage. And when he does, he's had the opportunity. They've had the opportunity for either interceptions or, in that case, as we just saw, forcing Reggie Slack and the Winnipeg Blue Bomber offense to throw it off balance and out of the reach of the intended receivers.
Bob Obilovich felt with Marcelo Simmons coming in last week, they may have had their best secondary as a unit all season long, and they've been great tonight. Cameron forced to punt from deep in his own zone, and Cunningham from his 48. Jimmy Cunningham with a hurdle into Winnipeg territory into 51. 11 yards that time for Cunningham after a 47-yard Bob Cameron punt. Well, it's been many moons since the Argonauts won a football game, July 29th to be exact, and maybe on a night where there's a beautiful full moon over Toronto, the Argonauts can end that drought. But Kep, you're in Memphis yesterday, and I haven't heard about Graceland or haven't heard you do any Elvis today. How was the trip down?
The trip to Memphis was great. The weather was absolutely beautiful. A bunch of the people there had an opportunity to go by and visit Graceland. I'd been there a couple of times. So just me and Elvis just went out for a casual little burger together. And we decided, you know, that the king should stay in seclusion for just a little while longer. Because he is still alive, you know.
There's a pass intended for Mazzotti, incomplete. Well, I wondered, I hadn't heard any of those impersonations tonight. Maybe you are.
As poorly done as they were, hopefully lots of people have the sense of humor about that.
Well, you did Elvis in Hamilton, and I know you got stopped in the hotel after the game, and the guy said, "I know you." And then he said, it dawned on him, and he said, "Yeah, you're Elvis."
Yeah, and as soon as I helped him off of the floor and got him into a cab, I sent him home, so I figured he was a great judge of character.
Here's pinball on second down. Boy, they've used that play a lot tonight. K.D. Williams has been around it most of the evening, but a flag down on the opposite side of the field. 15-point lead for the Argonauts. And Williams and the defense trying to keep Winnipeg in it.
Procedure, Toronto, no end, decline,
Third down.
28-13, and Bob Abilovich wanted his offense maybe to put this one out of reach. Not the case there.
We certainly would like that, and 9 times out of 10, again, you keep talking about throwing Michael Clemens the ball out into the flat one-on-one against the linebacker. You try to give the advantage to the running back and think that he's going to be able to do something. K.D. Williams has just risen to the challenge out there because he's not letting anything get by him.
Terry Baker had one go off the side of his foot, and this is a big break for Winnipeg. That's just a 20-yard punt for Terry Baker. And Reggie Slack gets much better field position than I'm sure he considered. Look at that. Bombers have not missed since 1979. That's when Cal Murphy and Danny Kepley were collecting Grey Cup rings in Edmonton. It's a long time for the Bombers, and they still are very much in this playoff race, but this score will not help if it stands.
Well, it's time for, I think Reggie Slack needs to go back and start looking for Wilcox and those guys on the quick slants and quick post inside rather than throwing the out patterns.
Slack has lots of steamboats and finds Gerald Wilcox. He shakes Fuller. He shakes Walcott, then out to midfield. Big gain for Wilcox, and it's a first down. Joe Miro finally the tackle, 25-yard pickup to Reggie Slack's favorite receiver, who has 92 yards on the night.
Take a look how Wilcox works around this zone. He gets inside of Joe Fuller, and look at the time that Reggie Slack has to throw the ball and look downfield. Not a pretty shot, but it was effective.
First down, Winnipeg, and again, Slack, good protection, threads the needle to Stiegel at the 35, and the Bombers now are in business. A couple of smart completions from Slack to his slot backs on either side. And Stiegel has 5 for 107.
Look at the view that Reggie Slack has down the field now. This time he throws a bullet into traffic, and Stiegel comes up. Great concentration by the young receiver.
Still plenty of time left, 7:45. Flip to Blaze Bryant, big hole, and Bryant now heading to the end zone, just tripped up inside the 5. 3 big plays to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, right back in the football game.
Terrific play. Now Blaze is going to set up out here as Reggie Slack goes back. He's just going to take the ball, shuffle it back inside. Now watch the hole that opens up inside. They get the seal off inside. Joe Sardal, the linebackers, get sealed off, and then Blaze Bryant does his own to get it down to about the 3-yard line.
First and goal there for Winnipeg after the 32-yard pickup. They give to Bryant again, and he's down near the 1. 72 yards on the day for Bryant. Unbelievably, the Bombers have not had a 100-yard rusher so far this season, and that isn't Winnipeg Blue Bomber football.
Well, and it certainly tells you why, and a lot of people that think they're in the know estimation, why they've struggled so much, why they're 5-10. Their offense has sputtered terribly at times, and their defense is just now starting to play like a Winnipeg defense of old. 3-down territory for Winnipeg.
And a lot of beef on the line. Both sides. Slack.
Away.
Didn't get there.
Away.
Push back. And it'll be 3rd down. Calvin Tingle. And Ken Walcott, the safety, stopped the surge.
That Toronto defense does an excellent job of submarining underneath the offensive linemen, cutting their feet out from under them, and then when Reggie Slack showed his head up above, Calvin Tingle was right there to meet him, helmet to helmet.
That's the Tingle that was all Canadian last year. 3rd and 1. The Bombers have to push it in.
Take the dive inside and run it outside yourself, Reggie.
He'll give to Bryant. Touchdown. A 1-yard plunge for Bryant, who has over 100 yards on the day in all-purpose yardage from scrimmage.
Nothing to this man-on-man, guys getting their helmets on somebody, creating an open area. And Blaze Bryant didn't make it by much before Calvin Tiggle hit him. But he just got in just enough for the make.
It's an 8-point Argo lead. OB's not out of the woods yet. 5:17 left. Oh, when the Bombers needed a quick scoring drive, they got it thanks to Reggie Slack and Blaze Bryant. And here's how they capped it.
Exactly, right in here is Blaze Bryant. Here's the easy block. Comes down inside. They're going to seal off this corner. But right there, Chris Johnstone getting the kick-out block allows this to take place. Gets his head inside against Tommy Hendry, and just enough area, just enough room to allow Blaze Bryant to get the ball in the end zone.
So the Bombers are a touchdown and a 2-point convert away. Mike Clements from inside his 10. Boy, John Moulton breaking up the wedge, but Clements still got through, and he spins across the 40 to the 43. 34-yard return for the pinball. The Argos can't argue with the field position they have. As the pressure goes back on Austin to get some more points on the board. Calgary winning tonight, but the key race is for that final playoff spot. Saskatchewan and Winnipeg are tied, and although the Argos are 6 points back, a win tonight would at least give them life for another week. Clements, pitch out, flag down. Clements down at 44 after maybe one or two. Colin Scribner on the tackle with Kenny Walker. I think I said Glenn earlier, and I'm sure Colin has been driven nuts by guys calling him Glenn this year.
Offside against Winnipeg, as we saw there. Of course, you're talking about the playoffs and the structure. Right now, there's a couple of teams that all they want to do is get to a playoff spot somewhere. They don't really care.
Outside, Winnipeg number 44, deep first down.
E. Williams gives the Argos a 1st and 5. And penalties have been costly. They've sustained 2 Argo drives for touchdowns so far tonight. 1st and 5, they go back to the pinball, and again, not much there. He got back to the line of scrimmage, but Colin Scribner.
See, he wanted to give you a chance.
Yep.
He's probably hooked in. He has a Walkman down there, and he's listening to you doing this broadcast somehow, and he says, well, I'll give him a chance to make sure that he can say my name twice. Katie Williams talking it over in the huddle, and I tell you what, this defense there has really been a standout defense, and that fella, since arriving in Winnipeg, an impact player.
2nd and 5 now. Argos trying to move the sticks, go back to Clements. Kelvin Smith is there now. Where are they going to mark this? Clements made the catch right at the 1st down stick. He was pushed back. What kind of forward progress do they give him?
We'll have to wait for the spot.
The Argos don't like the spot in front of their bench, and they're going to be just short.
I'm not sure that Toronto and Mike Clements got a very good spot out of that case.
Clements came into the game with 1,900 all-purpose yards, 4th in the league. And tonight he has 13 catches for 95 yards. It is a 1st down. Cal Murphy checks the clock. 3:39 left, Cal. Rushing the football, just 10 carries, 14 yards for pinball, but 3 touchdowns.
Tough situation right now when Winnipeg has to come up with a big sack and big defensive players. Their top 6 sackers, there is only one guy that is in the lineup today. Rush, Lyles, Randolph, Hill, and Clements are all gone.
1st down, and again, Clements. And he does a lot of running and can't get back to the original line of scrimmage. Down to the 50, John Moulton, Greg Clark finally had him circled and drop him for a loss. And the chirping is increasing with each play here. These two teams have been bitter rivals since Winnipeg moved to the east. They're now both in the north. Still, feelings are rather hot. Well, they haven't had a lot to be thankful for this year, but they've been loyal, and they hope Thanksgiving night their team can end a 9-game losing streak. Pinball over 2,000 yards all-purpose on the season. You know, Kev, every week Bob Obilovich says we're going to try and throw the ball to Clemens out of the backfield, but in 4 games, 7 catches, 38 yards. Tonight, he has 13 for 95. This is a big play. 2nd and 13. Fairholm with the catch, and he'll be close to a first down. At the Winnipeg 47, another crucial spot, and it is a first down.
2nd and long, and all of a sudden he makes Jason Mallett think that he's going to go deep, and he really gets his hips turned, and as soon as he gets the safety's hips turned, Jeff Fairholm comes back, makes the curl, makes sure that he has yardage for the first down, and then comes back toward Ken Austin just a bit. Terrific pass route, good throw. Big Miles throwing out a little bit of inspiration for the defense out there, and that's a guy that has the ability to come up with a big play, K.D. Williams.
1st and 10, and Clemens for the 25th time tonight has his hands on the football. On a play from scrimmage, John Moulton, the tackle. 48th offensive play for the Argos, and Clemens has got it 25 times.
John Moulton, a new addition to the linebacking core of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Haven't heard a lot from him today.
2nd and 5. The Argos trying to hang on to the football, and that one almost up for grabs. K.D. Williams bearing in on Ken Austin, and Austin coming back at Williams, who's not going to take a penalty and have to walk off to the sidelines to face Coach Murphy.
Take a look as K.D. comes free on that real big rush. The ball's just barely let go. Hey, you can't stop that. I think that's a good play. You can't stop in the middle and hold up. He wasn't really trying to be too aggressive with Ken Austin.
Thanks to that pressure, Austin hurried the throw, and Shannon Garrett was in the neighborhood.
Had Shannon been looking at the ball as opposed to the receiver, that would have been 6 the other way.
Terry Baker's longest field goal of the year for the Argos, 44 yards. This from 48. Not a great snap, but Baker puts it up and got it. That's a huge field goal for Terry Baker, and give Mazzotti credit for getting the ball down so Baker could expand the lead to 11. Well, the sure hands of a guy who has over 1,000 yards receiving this year to get the spot down for Baker.
And it just shows you what great hands that receiver Mazzotti has, because the ball skipped back, came sideways up on the tee, and Mazzotti was able to pick it up, get it on the tee. Terry Baker had enough legs to get it to his uprights 48 yards away.
Because the halfback's going to pick the ball up.
No time for congratulations. They're trying to work out why the drive stalled, and now Winnipeg has to get 2 scores with under 2 minutes to go, 1:58 left. Gerald Wilcox with his 7th catch, and now a 100-yard game for Wilcox. But those personal stats not really of consequence on the Winnipeg side of the football. They need a quick score. They have a first down at their own 46. Quick hitter, and Wilcox caught it behind him. This play by the top Canadian in 1994.
Great catch, great athleticism by this receiver. That ball, he's running full speed as he's coming off the line of scrimmage. There's Stone behind him. He's able to maneuver his body around, make the catch, and still turn around and pick up an additional 6 yards.
Well, the slots have been the key guys for Winnipeg, as they usually are. Slack on a roll, and Cantor's got him again. Oh, Noah Cantor's having a game. Second sack. He had a fumble recovery earlier. And he knocks Reggie Slack down back at the Winnipeg 51.
Calvin Tiggle taking a look from the middle. all of a sudden they have him hemmed in, and when you do, Cantor comes through for that sack.
Second and long, and Slack loads it up, throwing deep, and Tommy Henry just misses the pick. Tommy Henry couldn't squeeze it, and it's third down now, and Reggie has to look to the bench. They'll have to gamble. By the way, the Argos went the last 4 games without an interception, but they have 2 against Slack tonight.
Slack throws it into a lot of traffic, and it doesn't get much easier than that for Tommy Henry.
Got to squeeze those if your nickname's Primetime.
I think Mr. Sanders may have a little something to do with that. I think he has the rights and the trademark and the patent on that name.
Well, it's third down, 17 to go, and Gerald Wilcox is on the sidelines. What can Slack come up with? A lot of steamboats. Now flushed out, and he'll have to take off. Tiggle in pursuit has him short of the first down. The Argos have turned it over on down. A minute 26 to go, and the Toronto Argonauts are about to end a 9-game losing streak.
Take a look and see exactly what Calvin Tiggle is looking at. Good coverage in the secondary as Slack starts to scramble around. Everybody kind of mans up. They take their coverage and do it extremely well and allow those linebackers to do what they do best, and that's chase and pursuit and tackle. And Calvin Tiggle, it's a good game back for him.
Yes, Water Guard saying, boy, that Tiggle can run well for a guy with a bad knee. Well, he was chasing a guy with a bad knee, Reggie Slack. But great pursuit. Tiggle's had himself a game as he returns to the lineup for the Argonauts. He's an emotional leader as well. Mike Clements, and again, stopped right at the line. In fact, another short loss as Winnipeg closed up the middle. The time running down on Slack and the Bombers. Already 1-7 on the year on the road. Ken Austin chewing up the clock. 2nd and 11. Looking for Fairholm, and Fairholm hangs on. What a catch.
What a great catch by Jeff Fairholm.
23 yards for Fairholm, and Jeff, you could see that one hanging up, and you knew he was going to take a jolt.
The identical pattern to the opposite side, the corner route, and he hangs it up again. This time, the safety, Mallet, gets there and makes the contact where the last time in the end zone, Jeff Fairholm's came in with the touchdown catch. This time he comes up with the Houdini-style catch. Great super concentration.
Yeah, 5 for 81 for Fairholm. That's his best game of the year. Clements reversing his field, trying to get away from K.D. Williams, and that's been a story tonight. Williams has him, but I think Pinball's going to get the last lap. 32 seconds left. And a loss of 6 there.
K.D. Williams showing a lot of that fire and spirit that has been known in the Winnipeg defense organization.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you'd think James West was out there.
Well, I tell you what, some of that tradition is all handed down. Guys like James West, Tyrone Jones, Greg Battle, people like that have played great linebackers.
Pinball, one more run and one more stop by Williams. John Terry stepping in, saying, lay off our guy.
Katie says, you know, I've seen pinball all day long. I may get to meet some of the rest of you.
Williams may have to save it for the next meeting between these two teams.
Yeah, it's a little too late for this
9
one.
seconds left. 9 straight losses about to come to an end for Bob Obilovich and the Toronto Argonauts. And for the first time this year, with Ken Austin as the starter, the Argos will be victorious. Their fireworks are going off already. And the knees down, this one is official. And a spike for an exclamation mark on Argo victory.
Happy Thanksgiving, Toronto.
Yep. Long-awaited win for Austin and the Argonauts. And that might be the most relieved man in the CFL.
Huge crucial play still, the offsides against Winnipeg on the field goal that was missed.
Well, let's go downstairs and join Scotto.
All right, Chris, let me paraphrase what Kent Austin just said. About time.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, so you know, it's nice to have a lineup that's staying pretty consistent now, and you know, keeping the same guys in there. I think we found a lineup that works for us.
Kent, you've been called upon many times this season to explain what went wrong, what went right tonight.
Well, I think you saw more of a wide open offense. We started off with 2-back, went back to a 1-back set in the second and third period, and we were able to score some points. And the defense played tremendous. They gave us the ball in good field position. That was the difference.
Now, how about the awakening of Jeff Fairholm? How good did it feel to hook up with him on a touchdown pass?
I was really excited for him. And, you know, and I've been saying all year long, we got to move him around and give him an opportunity to perform, and not just always give him the weak side. If you notice, you put him the wide side of the field tonight, he had a lot more success.
Kent, what about from here on in? You can't afford to lose any more, but, you know, you're alive for one more week.
Nobody talked about it until now, so we got 3 more games and we can get in the playoffs. So we just got to, you know, we got to win them all, obviously. And if Saskatchewan wins one, we're out of it. But I've seen it happen.
Is this the start of a comeback for Jeff Fairholm, do you think? I can't see it because we haven't got a monitor here, but I think we have his touchdown here.
Look at the catches he made and the separation he got. He played a great game. Jeff's always been a great receiver.
All right, Ken, thanks for your time. And so the Argos are still alive on a 31-20 win over Winnipeg. We'll return to Skydome in a moment. So the Argos still have life after a victory over the Bombers at Skydome tonight, 31-20, the final. They can't afford to lose any from here on in. It's still a Herculean task to win all 3 that they have left, but for now, they'll enjoy this one. Pinball, very much a factor, 3 touchdowns on the night. He's contributed to the Argo attack in many ways in 7 years, but this one of his most productive nights in the scoring department, at least, to help end a 9-game losing streak. And Mike Clemens, was that the best part of it, ending that skid?
No doubt about it. Long time since we've been in the victory seat, so we're going to savor this one.
Want to say a few words about your defense, which gave you a good field position all night?
All night long. They've actually been the backbone. They've kept us in games all year long and done an outstanding job. Finally, their work paid off.
What about from here on in, Mike? You can't lose any more, but, you know, anything's possible. I guess that's the attitude?
Well, if we can lose 9 straight, it's possible to win 4 straight. So we're looking in a positive light and really just taking one game at a time. The next game is the biggest one. If we lose the next one, we're out of it. So we just have to concentrate on the next one.
Next game is a big one. It's in Winnipeg next week. Have you given the Bombers something to think about?
I think we've given them something to think about, but that's not always a good thing. Now we can't catch them sleeping. They know they need this victory, so we're going to have to be tuned up, especially at their place with the wind, the weather, all the different factors that they know and understand out there, so it's going to be a tough one.
All right, Mike, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, and the offensive line did a great job.
Okay, so as Mike Clemens and the Argos celebrate, let's hear now from Chris and Dan.
Well, Scott, clearly the odds still very much against the Argos, but they have to win 3 in a row, and they play 2 of the teams they've already beaten, so that at least gives them a chance.
Well, I think Coach Obilovich has always said that what he needs to do is to play 60 minutes and play 3 phases of the football game. If we can win 2 of the 3 phases, we have a chance to win. They won 3 of the 3 tonight.
So right now, Saskatchewan holding on to that final playoff spot, but Winnipeg and Toronto still with the chance. You heard Scott talking to Mike Clemens. I mentioned that Obi's been trying to get Clemens involved in the receiving game, and tonight it certainly came to pass. 13 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, I think the thing is, too, also Ken Austin is trying to spread this offense out across the field, get good people in good positions, and when you put them in good positions, then you have productivity. Tonight, they got productivity and, more importantly, a victory.
Well, Pinball mentioned it. Give you the last word. The Argo defense played pretty solid.
Well, they really did. They came up there. They played tough. Tickle in the middle is a big force. And I think also that defensive line of the Toronto Argonauts is doing a terrific job. They put a lot of heat on Reggie Slack.
And as for the Bombers, K.D. Williams had a big game defensively. The slots were effective for Reggie Slack, but it wasn't enough tonight as the Argos end a 9-game losing streak. Scott?
All right, Chris, just when it looked like they were done, the Argos win one. They're still mathematically alive, with emphasis on mathematically. At BC Place, Stampeders improved their record to 14-1, beating the Lions this afternoon. Coming up on Saturday, another Molson Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. New Jersey at Montreal and the Rangers at Toronto to start. Vancouver at San Jose to finish. Earlier on Saturday, we'll be at Taylor Field where the Green Riders face Calgary, and on Sunday, we'll be in Hamilton where the Cats take on the Lions. In Toronto tonight, Argos stayed alive for at least one more week. Thanks for watching, and good night from Skydome.
Winnipeg.